Okay, Lucia, here's your first lesson video. Just right off the bat, we are doing things that are not really that fun right now, focusing on technique. The same way that you had to learn times tables to be able to do math, we just have to do some really not as fun as learning songs, thinking about basic hand movements. And then next time we'll jump in with more songs. But, really I do want you to focus on this. And when I say on the video, now pause and work on that, I actually mean pause the video and do the thing we're working on, the little section we're working on, as many times as it takes to finish and get comfortable with it. A reminder, we've got two headspaces. One of them is for memorization, when you're first learning a little section. Let's compare that to learning dance steps. You just have to think about it. And then when you get them down, you switch to our playing headspace, which is more like a feel thing. You just do it the way you just have to go, okay, now I'm a dance. It's exactly like that. And we want to pay attention to that because that's the most efficient, the quickest way to actually get these memories to stick. And things like how to hold the pick and how to strum are obviously going to come up in every song ever. That's not fingerstyle. So for starters, I've sent you a video called How to Hold the Guitar. Pause your video and watch that. So that's going to leave you with your arms slung around the guitar, this bone laying on it, where you're, as opposed to down there, your fretboard's just chilling out right where we want it to. And now we are going to work on right hand. Here's how you hold a pick. So during the lesson, it was you were tending to strum with the side of the pick. We do want to use the pointy part, and it's all good. Everybody feels weird the first time they use a pick. And as opposed to putting it on my knuckle, I've got it on my fingertip, and there's about this much sticking out. Not this much, not the whole thing, which is what most people want to do at first, but about that much. So when we're strumming, and I want you to try this with me in a second, just with no chord, you can just hit the open strings, or if you want to hold down A minor or something, go for it. So like we talked about during the lesson, there's a wider range of motion. That if I just line the pick up here, it sounds all clunky, whereas it sounds like actual guitar playing. So that has me starting up as high as here on my down strums, and on the way up like that, and it becomes a lighter, looser motion. That's mostly arm with a little bit of wrist. So before you even try to play anything, just work on going down a bunch of times and then up a bunch of times. Just really stay focused on what you're doing. Don't switch to guessing, and just work on this boring, I'm going to learn the times tables part of guitar playing. So there's down, and here's up. And then, you can just go down, up, and again, this is supposed to be boring. So please pause your video and work on this until you feel like you're actually kind of getting the hang of strumming with this wider range of motion, meaning farther than here, holding the pick. Cool. So let's grab A minor. Left hand wise, you're looking good, and it turned out we didn't end up playing a scale, so we're just going to be doing chord stuff. So the strumming pattern that we're going to use for House of the Rising Sun, even though there's a finger picking pattern, we're going to do that too. We're going to have two ways to play it. The song's in 3/4 or 6/8, and 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3. And our strumming pattern's going to go down down up down 1 2 and 3. And from remembering during the lesson, if you hit the first two down, you'll be good. So in your practice, please pause and go down, down, up, down. Right now, if you can remember the details about technique, go ahead, but mostly just memorize, okay, I'm going to be going down, down, up, down. If you look at the back of the page, or it might be on the front, but I believe I wrote it on the back, I specified that what I want you to do is I want you to just do it one attempt, pause, one, then pause, focused, until that gets kind of easy. Pause in between, and then you're going to do it twice total. Pause. staying focused until that gets easy. And then you're going to do it over and over again, looping it, which is what you're going to want to do right away because it's more fun and it sounds like playing the song. So please pause and do the boring part, and then you'll be going, excuse me. Just sitting on one chord. So stop to that. Awesome. So our song called Mini House is just A minor and C. So easy left hand change. So now you're going to apply that to that. You're going to pretend that it's House of the Rising Sun, but it just goes A minor, C. And we're going to go. And just like when we're learning the strumming pattern, I'm going to encourage you to do it once, pause, focused until it gets kind of easy, and then try to do it over and over again. And again, that sounds like, excuse me. If you find yourself needing to pause between chords, like going, the way that we're going to deal with that is on the very last strum before I switch to C, this finger is already going to have left on its way over there. Here's what I mean. When I did slow, it sounded wrong, but it's the least important concept that we talked about today. But yeah, and we do have a pause there, so you can just go. Great, so please stop work on that and make a note of where you are in the counter right now on your video, like if it's 2 minutes and 16 in or whatever, because this is where we're going to start finger style. And this is pretty much all we're doing this time, aside from memorizing the names of the strings. This one's the 6th string, this one's the 1st string. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And if we look at the page, the bottom line on the tablature is the 6th string, because it's a low note. So E, A, D, G, B, E. And there's no every good boy does fine for that, so just E, A, D, G, B, E. And if you really wanted to sink in, give yourself like a quiz on it, where it's a geography test. You pick random ones and ask yourself out of order. You know, be like, okay, B, that's the B string, D. But it's okay if you don't do that, if you want to just go E, A, D, G, B, E, and only be able to think about it if you do them all at the same time. That's cool for now. And that's all the memorization stuff we're doing, is deciding the names of the open strings, which is good because that's not a lot of boring stuff. Hey, right hand wise, everybody, you in the world wanted to play like this at first. We talked about having your thumb laying on the string and then bringing it, and we'll pretend there's just 4 strings right now, not the 6th and 5th, but the 3 fingers here and our thumb on the 4th string. And this is the position we want to be in, where you could like do a pinch, so to speak, at the same time. If we look at the other position, you'd have your fingers running into each other, and so what we get is curled up fingers that can move in little teeny movements and stay right on top of the strings. So, you know, let's get into this position and try to just go this one, this one, this one, this one. And I do mean put it back on the string afterwards so that you stay anchored there rather than ending up, whoops, on the wrong string. You're going to want to drift back like this. Just don't. Just one little teeny thing at a time in our conscious focus headspace, our memorization, learning the dance steps headspace. Just do that. And it's going to be, again, we're doing the boring part. We're learning how to pick, which you only have to do once. But yeah, so like there you go. Like that, not like this. And please pause and just go this one, this one, this one, this one, until your hand starts to say, okay, that's easy. At that point, you're going to actually play House of the Rising Sun. You're going to go. But you can start with Mini House if you want, and I'd like you to. Or, in theory, you could just be going. and you'd be learning what we need to, because left hand's just holding down a chord shape. So there you go, and you can slow it down, whatever you need to do, and then putting those together, we're gonna hear. And probably put your focus visually on your right hand. And reminder, we're not looking at the page. As soon as you know what you're doing, you want to be looking at your hands. Guitar is really visual. So you'll probably want to look at your right hand right now, not your left hand. And you can just sit on one chord, do the chord changes. It's all good either way. We didn't get up to playing a scale. We were about to talk about how to play some single note stuff. If you want to look up something like that online, you can, but I think we've given you enough to work on, especially considering it's just absolute basic stuff that is tough to learn at first. Just like it would be tough if this was like your first karate lesson or whatever. Anything is difficult at first like this. So cool. I will see you next Saturday at noon, and we'll assume we're doing another half hour. And it was really nice to meet you guys. Enjoy. I'll see you next weekend. Cheers.